Hello, good morning from New York. Thanks to Nestle, blended in water with baking cocoa. Just the right amount of sweet. Less sugar, better for you. Cocoa is really good for you. All right, and thanks to Big Linux for doing a great job with their distro. They really need some love. And they're dependable and they've really improved Manjaro. These are very stable and very. Yep, I do. Yeah. And big thanks to all the Linux people. Philosophy is a great one and could be expanded in general. That's part of politics, isn't it? The title today: Trump, Politics, Clergy, and IMC, Communication. As you know, the philosophy of IMC is that we would be basically working toward healing and solutions rather than. And so, with Trump, it's like, I don't understand why people would, want to hurt him. I don't see that. He did bad things, yes. He certainly did. A lot of us have. And I think he suffers from, lack of some of these empathies that we talk about here: creative, objective, compassionate, and he uses a lot of anger and fear. So does the Republican Party today, but any party or any group that uses that sort of thing to manipulate people is to be suspect. And that's no way to do politics. And putting people in prison, what's the intent? I mean, you need to protect society. Yeah, surely you need to put some people in in a controlled situation where they can't harm society. That doesn't mean you have to be mean to them while they're there. You should be working on their healing, working on their inner mind communication and their use of the philosophy and their daily interchanges. And remember, it's all about seeking an expanded comfort with this approach. And so, people are in constant threat of their life and so on. And in a prison or whatever, that's just not acceptable. It's not the way to go. I understand that there's some people that are dangerous to the guard. There are ways of handling that. True. and blaming people for what they do. And studies of neurology and how the brain work is like, come on. They, the blame game, just gets everybody fired up. It's no good. Doesn't work. Punishment doesn't work to make people better. How can the effects of damaged faith and love, or lack of getting your needs met, or a damaged brain, have any? Is there any rational reason why you would apply punishment and greater harm and a deepening sense of I'm not loved to these people? That just isn't going to work. There are ways to help them. Now, some of them are going to balk at doing the practices of IMC. I need to be forced into it. Gently. But, but once they understand that it's just an attempt to comfort themselves from different perspectives and to feel better, once they get that, then they practice a bit, then they'll be all right. If they're not, then call in the psychiatrist. It's like, but that's so much better than religion. The clergy coming in. It's like, sis bamboo, say the magic words, you're a better person. Come on, you really believe that? It's has to do with a sense of feeling loved. Now, if that helps them feel loved, and maybe they will change their lives. Does that mean that they're actually cured of or done anything about the core problem? Possibly not. And under enough pressure or stress, problem comes back. So that also tells you something about after you release somebody from prison. And the politics that is so popular is like getting angry at the other side or whatever, getting people afraid and angry. That doesn't fix problems. Now, I'm not saying we don't have to go to war sometimes and defend ourselves. Certainly, that's a thing. But even then, we can do that in the kindest way possible. The world is advancing in that way. It's getting better. Even with all of the other things we see going on, to a degree, yeah, it's getting a little better. I would compare the war in Ukraine, show how religious fanaticism seems to heighten the trauma, the hurt. If that's possible now, not to say that Ukraine isn't suffering horribly, it isn't a horrendous, terrible thing what's going on. But I think the Gaza situation is worse. Tell me in the comments what you think. But in any case, we got to save the people. And we should be doing everything we can to get every child out of those places, period. Period. Hate to separate them from the parents. But if that's necessary, then bed, but I'd like to get them all out of there. But I think some of these instigators are so angry and so crazy that maybe just the kids are something that finally touched their heart. So get the kids out at least. And then maybe the women, and maybe work on the guys, get them out of there. I know I'm talking crazy here, but when you're dealing with crazy, sometimes you got to be a little crazy yourself, I think. Yeah, like, you're thrown into war, you've got to defend yourself. And that means a lot of unpleasant things that you might do. Terrible. The world suffers from the greatest degree of child abuse. Oh my gosh. But, this thing that we've treated children right all along is the history is really bad. And a lot of our wars and things, I think, come from corporal punishment placed on our children. Where violence is seen to be normal, inflicting pain and punishment to evoke change is their go-to. And what do the clergy do? They support that sort of approach. Spare the rod and spoil the child. And I have had children. I did not use anything like that. Even putting them in a corner. You talk to them. Use your IMC. Use your empathies. Objective, creative, compassionate. All right. So if you use all those things together routinely, then most kids are going to respond to that. They're going to respond and do well. Of course, there are kids that abused corporal punishment, and they take a little while, but they'll respond eventually, I think. The system is for adults. We need child psychologists to go over this, adapt it to children to whatever extent that's possible. And that's an important thing. What children need is for the adults to go through it and be more loving toward them, kids. Solve a lot of problems. People are saying, "Oh, the kid has problems in school." Probably we need to treat the parents. But here's the politics. Who's got the power? Who's paying the money for the therapy? I think a socialized approach would be better. Yeah. Well, it's not dependent on parents paying. Because, obviously they don't want to be the ones to blame. And there's, really nobody to blame. It's whatever they did. It's because of the lack of the things I'm talking about. And that's nobody's fault. But it is our fault if we don't do something about it. and we know that there's a way, but yeah, I it's easy to feel repulsed by some things in society. The Anabaptist group, they weren't for clergy at all. Big fraction. They didn't believe in it. Whatever ran the church family was, and essentially that's the way the church was set up. Churches in the beginning, they were very socialistic. Really, yes. First church that was ever set up, they had everything in common, so that go with that. Yeah. There's a flaw. And there's a flaw in all forms of government. But politically, what we need to aim for is clear and good communication on how we conduct our lives, how we trade, business, educated by objective empathy, creative empathy. Those reflections would be applied to how we do business in life. And there's where your virtues come from. And you need to read a book. I did kind of feel the same way having a clergy. I don't see that as a good idea. They should be, Church of Christ for elders. The preacher was not, respected like I've seen in some groups. They were a hired hand to deliver speeches, so on. They weren't in complete control of everything. And now I see a lot of that where they are, and we give them honorific terms, names like reverend. Yeah, that's a little off-putting. I refuse to use that word. Yeah. And someone who should tell you where you need to go spiritually. They can help. A person can be a teacher and they can help you with internet communication, and that's up to you. The whole thing's up to you. What you want to take of it, what you don't, and staying in your comfort zone, comfort lane. But expanding that range of comfort. And that's hard work. It can be hard work. And it isn't all done with internet communication. But internet communication creates a philosophy that if you can follow it, that's the rest of the story. That's the rest of the process. What is a catalyst for change? Well, it can be political. It can be, the big picture, society, or it can be an individual. Just one individual. So, but they are each catalysts for change, one for the other. So, the more we practice these values in society, the more individuals will have who rise and do well, have a message to share. And the more we help any individual, an individual for great social change, great political change. Yeah, so the whole clergy thing, it almost like filling in the categories. You get to be called Congresswoman. Really? Yeah. You know, fine, just to denote, your position. Someone uses it all the time. Right, then they are philosophy line C. Because that involves a great deal of humility. But I'd like to see elected in politics and more scientists who know something, who try to know something. It's not about the mystery, it's about the challenge of mystery. Figuring it out. That's how we get the really great changes in society. That's how we're going to get them in the future. Figuring it out. So, that's my presentation for this moment. And as I like to say at the end of my presentations, namaste. In a flow of love and honor of all that is greater than ourselves. That part of the person saying that is honoring the other person, the same thing for the other person, for wonder. Flow of love. The opportunity to serve, the opportunity to grow, potentiality there, and the presence of the universe. Each person shares. So that part, that's what namaste means. You could go on and on about the word. It's a beautiful word. And so, namaste. And I hope that you have a marvelous day. Follow the right philosophy. Don't vote for people who don't have those forms of empathy on display. Don't vote for people who push you with anger and fear. They're trying to keep you from thinking. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Take care, y'all.